Well, I think you guys know the issues. Actually, Mark Meyer walked in. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" Mark said, "I feel like I'm in a dryer tumbling around." And I stopped for a second. I'm like, "Oh, that's what I'm feeling." And I think a lot of us can relate to that. So, no new news. We've got taxation, right? We're here to fight taxation, which is, it's not taxation, it's the elimination of the credit union movement. Now we'll have, if we get taxed, we'll have about basically 900 or 9,500 banks. And some of you are going, taxation doesn't mean the elimination of credit unions. I think it does. And one of the things I've been studying my whole career is taxation in other countries. Most of everything we're dealing with is happening somewhere else. And I use the Australian and Canadian model, which two completely different things happened when they got taxed, and we don't have time to go through that. But whatever I'm talking about today, whatever you're thinking about, go figure out what happened in other countries. So we've got taxation. We have the and my congressman is on the Ways and Means Committee, has been for 18 years. Now, they're not in control right now. He says this is real. A lot of you may not agree with that. And certainly the people that aren't here evidently don't agree with that, or they should be here fighting for credit unions. What he said, though, is it probably won't be on purpose. It'll be on accident. Because if things happen, it's going to happen quick, and you guys can just get wiped into the frenzy. Take that serious. Do you know what that means for your credit union if that happens? So then on top of that, we've got a regulator that's likely to go away. And we always complain about the NCUA. We're going to really complain about the FDIC. We're going to really complain about being treated the same as a bank. Be careful what you wish for. That's likely to happen. Long term, does that impact credit unions in the fact that maybe we get eliminated? Everything that's happening, it's not if it's going to happen, it's really when it's going to happen. You got debit interchange, you got credit interchange. I don't think real-time payments was talked about today. Wait till real-time payments hits the U.S. It kind of is. Go to another country and figure out what happened in fraud losses when real-time payments hit. That'll scare you. So I can go on and on and on to depress you at the end of this day. But what are the opportunities? There's lots of opportunities, and we can go on and on about that. But we talked about telling our story. Do you know what your story is? How do you differentiate between all the rest of the competition? Who is your competition? Mine is B of A, City Chase, and Wells. That's it. And they make our jobs easy every single day. But how do you differentiate against that? Do you know what that story is? How do you tweak your products just a little bit? One of the things I'm talking about a lot in our organization is people just showing up and opening the doors. That's not what we're there to do. So think about your shop. Everybody's showing up every day, open the doors, serving the members as best as they can. That's not good for our future.
Yeah, when Brett and I were talking, we were talking about what if scenarios. Remember that whole strategic planning, that what if this happens, what if that happens? And I think we're going to show you a graphic here, a slide that'll come up. Yes, regarding scenario planning. And so if you'll take just a minute and describe for us what you think about scenario planning today.
First of all, there's two slides. This was just last September, October, 100 large credit unions. And this is how they do financial scenario planning. 43% do one. It's called budget. And these are our largest credit unions. 43% two or three. Our organization does 25 to 35 different scenarios every single year, sometimes twice a year. We get we think about the craziest things that can happen. They're not crazy anymore. I've been doing this for a while. The Great Recession, fires, floods, pandemics, taxation. I've been planning for taxation since 2006. I do believe it's not if, it's when. So I also have this thing in the back of my head going on, and where my cuss words come from is we're getting ready to hit 10 billion. And at 9.9, we're a small credit union. The next day, we're a large credit union that's competing with all the things that a $100 billion financial institution needs to do. That's a $35 million hit instantly off of our bottom line. And that's larger than most because we have an 88% checking penetration. So when you think of the impacts of 10 billion, there's lots of them, but half of debit interchange, the new CFPB thing that kind of got stopped where overdraft protection goes away, plus all the compliance and regulatory issues you need to plan for. Now throw taxation on top of that. Strangely enough, our income from last year, without any tax planning, that's another 35 million. That's 70 million. So we do all these different scenario planning, and I just never planned for taxation and 10 billion to hit the same day, because we'll probably hit 10 billion in January, and if taxation goes into effect, it'll probably go into effect in January. So I guess my issue here, actually there's another slide. So this is how many scenarios you thought these credit unions thought was going to happen over the next, 3 years? 2 to 3. So I can keep on going on in different scenarios, but the issue is layering those scenarios together. Each one of those layers is a different scenario. So 10 billion, taxation, a recession. I'm also lucky to be from the state of California. It's insane there. We have credit interchange. That's a new bill to here in April. We're going to go fight that one. That's likely to pass. So it's all these little things that layer on top of each other and understanding what the financial impacts are. People say, how do you make decisions so quickly? Because I already know the answer. I know in some of the craziest, worst scenarios we're going to survive, but we also have to plan. We've been planning for 10 billion for a long time. We've been planning for taxation since 2006. These are the largest credit unions and what they're saying that they're doing for, as far as the strategic planning. Our board goes through all 25 of those scenarios every single year.
So that was such a critical point. This isn't just about our CEOs. This is about our boards and the complexity of what lies ahead. And so that's going to be key. So our last question here as we wrap up is, what do you want everybody to do? The hashtag GSD. What should we get done? Get done.
Go get shit done. So I think there's really two things. First of all, I asked some people that are in the know, and I'm gonna. So there's probably about 1,100 credit unions here in Washington, D.C., and I think that's probably a generous number. It's a little less than 25% of the credit unions, and this is arguably I've been doing this for a very long time. This is the craziest time I've ever seen. It's real, and let's be generous. 25% of us are here. What are you going to do about that? It's too late right now, by the way. What are you going to do for next year? What are you going to do at the state level? I sent an email to all the Northern California credit unions 2 weeks ago encouraging the CEOs to show up at the state level. We have, I think, 10 crazy bills that are going on, and CEOs aren't showing up anymore. So we all play a role in that. We're sitting here watching it. We're carrying everybody else's water. You know people that aren't here. What are you going to do about that? And then secondly, I would say we've got to differentiate. We go back. There's too much opening the doors and letting it happen. And we got large, small, we have different capabilities. Differentiation doesn't take a lot of effort. It just takes a mindset. We talked about what's on your website. It's not about adding a bunch of new products and services. What about tweaking, making little tweaks to your products and services, understanding what your competition is doing? Going back with that mindset, because if we don't differentiate, we don't start telling our stories and getting our members and our communities and our legislators to understand the difference, these things are going to come quick. If we get out of it this year, it's going to be luck. And there's too many people saying, first of all, it's not going to happen. Second of all, if it happens, whew, that's good news. It's not good news. It's coming. The environment's the environment. All the income sources, the different things that we have to do that are increasing our expenses, there's a trend going on. And as important as it is in D.C., it's even more important at the state level because they're kind of going to go state by state. Pay attention to what happens in California. Feel sorry for us. But it's coming your way. California is where it starts. And then you guys get to share. Very last thing. You heard things today. I'm no different than you guys. You got all these ideas. And we go back, we open the doors, and we go on with life. We've got to start acting. What are you going to do different?